Thank you very much. I deeply appreciate all the questioners and the questions that you raised. It's important to put in context one or two things because I saw that a lot of the questions were too broad-based, asking on all manner of issues that were not discussed at NEC. NEC is a coordinating body that coordinates economic policies between the federal and the state governments. And during each meeting, specific items on the agenda are discussed. And you don't discuss everything. So the briefing that you got before actually summarized the areas of focus for this particular NEC meeting. And those will be the areas where we'll focus. If they are not discussed, we'll tell you that they were not discussed at this meeting. And subsequently, when they are discussed, we'll tell you. Here is to brief you on what NEC discussed and conclusions that we reached at today's session, and not to speculate on what could be the possible position of NEC on A or B. So in that regard, I take the first question that was specifically directed to me, and that's about a decision on Forex. Well, I must say that the issue of exchange rate stability, maintaining exchange rate stability, is a concern. And I think the central bank is taking steps. At NEC meeting, the issue was not explicitly discussed as an agenda item. But in the course of the discussions, the idea of having macroeconomic stability, having lower inflation, having higher growth, and ensuring exchange rate stability, having broad-based and inclusive growth process, were all discussed and underscored as being critical to the road ahead. Yes, the recent volatility in the Naira, of course, is a concern. And of course, the news that you heard about the attempt to stabilize the Naira with the 3 billion facility is also very welcome. So in general terms, we didn't take a decision, because that was your question, whether we took decision on Forex. No, the decision on Forex and the general underpinning was a recognition that there is a need to, as quickly as possible, stabilize the Forex market. And I think the central bank is on course to doing that. We must appreciate the disruptive nature of the environment in which we are. Many people don't quite appreciate the fact that where this government came in and the fundamentals were such that there was no way you were going to avoid Forex volatility, as it were. If you just printed 22, 23 trillion Naira pumped into the system with nothing to back it by way of ways and means, which was what happened under the previous regime. There is no way you will pump all of those and not expect prices, inflation, and exchange rate to give way. This is a very important point that people we must all appreciate. And so I believe that the central bank is doing its utmost and probably expecting Naira stability in the days ahead, trying to make the best of of a bad situation, as it were. Now, the other one that was directed at me is the issue of the social register. I would say that that is ongoing. That's basically the sense of the conversation that happened today. That is ongoing in terms of a review of the social register. I think probably in some places where they have issues, the review is ongoing. There are plans to revive moribund industries and stabilize the Naira. I guess all the various economic policies being rolled out, both at the center and at the subnational levels. That's the end game. The end game is to get Nigeria working. End game is to reduce unemployment, get unemployed resources. Unemployed resources are not just idle hands, but also they raise the capacity utilization of industries, including the moribund ones, to be restructured and so on. So it's about broad-based, inclusive growth, prosperity, and of course keeping the macro environment stable. That's the end game of all these policies that are being rolled out, whether to fix infrastructure, or whether to stabilize the exchange rate, or whether to keep the money market stable and credit availability, the MSME credit, billions and tens of billions that are being pumped into the market, even under this palliative, as it were. MSME receiving about 75 billion. You have the 100 billion agri credit, you have 125 billion gas conversion program, and so on and so forth. All of them have direct impacts on existing and even potential industries to come. I think I've barely taken, I don't know if there is any other question. Thank you.